Back to another video, man. Welcome back to another little recap. um Not the cleanest day for me at the end of the day. It is what it is, but there was a lot of lessons in today's price action that were kind of important for me to, I guess, come on here and make a recap, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably had a hard time reading price action today and all that. So it is what it is. We live to fight another day. I'm only down. Today I was down on my main Apex account. I think it was $95 I was down. And then on my funded futures, I copy that times two, so I'm down 204 after commissions and all that stuff. So not bad, not bad. Um, we live to fight another day, and even still, the $204 red on a 50K account is pretty good to me. So getting into the business, I was already bullish, right? So I'm kind of gonna go into that a little bit as the video goes on. But coming into the day, I was already bullish, just for the simple fact that we started disrespecting bearish order flow and respecting all these bullish gaps. The fact that we were pushing up so aggressively, I already had these marked out as a very, very strong draw, and these highs were also pretty much the fill of this hourly gap, of this 15-minute gap. Sorry. So if you look up here where the numbers are, the low of this candle is, look at here in the L. The low of this candle is 25,416. The high of this candle is 25,417. So we kind of, with that being a fair value gap and this high inside, I kind of wanted to see this all just disrespect the, sorry, and just rate all this stuff. I just thought I would get an entry beforehand. You know what I mean? So the first 15-minute candle that printed in the session is right here, and as soon as the market opens, yeah, we inverse this. We kind of go up right away, take previous day high. But I was a little bit wary of going long here, just because we had an SMT at previous day high, right? So look how Nasdaq is aggressively pushing through previous day high, and ES was still a ways away, right? So at this point, I'm like, cool. We have this bearish gap that, even though this was inverted, it wasn't super clean, for the simple fact that, look at the closure on ES. ES, it was still below the midpoint of this gap, so it could have easily rolled over based on the SMT and the fact that we took previous day high and all that stuff. So I didn't take that long there, which eventually took the buy side that I had previously mentioned. I believe it's this one right here. Yeah, so up here. I don't think we got there, but that would have been the premise of where I was looking for. And at this point, ES catches up and takes previous day high pretty quickly. So after that rip, there wasn't really anything, that I saw worth taking, because after we take previous day high on ES, which is over here, we're just chopping around, and it felt really, really, really chasey to kind of expect this to deliver, because of the narrative that I just gave you guys. We're pushing up. We already take so much buy side first thing in the morning. It's just a straight shot up, and then we're consolidating after we take that. And at this point, I'm looking at the of course the shit freezes. At this point, I'm looking at the midpoint of this wick and how price kind of taps that, and then starts to kind of not displace lower, but continues to trek a little bit downward, right? So I see this here, and I'm like, now that I review it, it was a little bit premature to expect this to work, just because we're still inside a large 15-minute gap here. You see that? So let me remove this so you can see it. So we're inside this big 15-minute gap, which price could tap into and eventually, I put it blue so you can see it when I drop down, where price could still come in here and kind of respect that bullish order flow and continue to push up. So that was a little bit of a premature short, but when I was looking at it, it kind of looked good. I'm not going to lie. Like, not always is that 15-minute gap going to hold. So I was looking for a quick 1 to 2, get to the a little bit below midpoint of the gap, and it could still, the 15-minute gap could still support bullish price, but I just wanted it to see dig a little bit deeper, especially based on the way that we were reacting to these levels on Nasdaq, right? So we kind of push up. We're displacing through this gap now. We're aggressively selling off here, and I wanted to see a complete fill of this, and then test this out, and then maybe explore bullish. But I get stopped out there for a couple of points, no big deal. At that point, I was down. I want to say, let me see. I think the it doesn't show me the execution after hours for whatever reason, but I think this was the exact setup, if I'm not mistaken. And I get stopped out pretty instantly, but then I see the premise I just gave you guys of we're still in a 15-minute gap. We're still pretty bullish on the day. Is the play now new high of day? So a lot of people are going to say that I chased this, but it wasn't really chasing. I was really just reacting to what price was telling me, right? So as soon as I get stopped out, I see that this closes and we create a fair value gap here. What I did was I went long here and I was aiming for a 1 to 2. We never fully get there, but since I get stopped out here for 3 micros, I was down 180. I sized down to 2 micros, risk only 120 on this, and I really wanted to see that 1 to 2. But I ended up getting stopped in profit because I was really playing defense. I didn't want to see us get so close to these stacked highs and then do this where we failed to reach at least this swing high, so I could go. I would have really considered taking profit at this swing high once we got up here, just so I could make the money back for the day, because at that point I would have been up 51 points. I said I went in with 2 micros, so that would have been 204. So I would have made back the initial loss of 180 and a little bit more. But obviously the market is always right. You know, the market is going to do what it wants to do at whatever time it wants to do it. And then once I see that this swing high is taken on ES, we just get another SMT, and I kind of was expecting to get stopped in profit. I wanted to see this gap here on ES. I wanted to see that support price and push it up for a new higher day, and then eventually reach target here, but obviously that didn't happen. So at that point, instead of being down 180, I came down to minus, I think 101, I think is what I saw, which is a problem in focusing on the P&L too much. But once I see this, I then see it as, all right, maybe the initial short that I took here could be playing out now, because we have the SMT here, right? We have SMT at the highs, internal SMT. Nasdaq is a little weaker based on the way that SMT works by definition. Nasdaq is weaker because we don't take the high here. We do take it on ES, and we're pushing lower. We're disrespecting these gaps. We disrespect this gap. We finally trade through. We have an order block. We have this wick. We have this, and it was just a tough day. Like a lot of back and forth. If I would have lost this, I would have been down 200 on the day on my main account. I would have just called it anyway. But look at this wick and the candle closure. So the wicks do all of the damage, right? We hear that a lot. We test the order block. We close. We respect the midpoint. We're closing. And at this point, I'm like, just get me to this swing low so I could go break even and go on about my day and my weekend. But look how long it takes to even take that swing low. We entered here at 10:49, and that swing low doesn't get hit till like 11. Yeah, so just a lot of back and forth. I get stopped a couple points in profit here, basically break even to finish the day down $95 on my Apex and down 200 on my funded futures, but it was a good stop out. I kept looking at it because at this point we created this inversion, we created this gap, then we pushed through it. I was looking at maybe another 1 to 2 up here. Not that I would have taken it, but I was just looking to see if price was really just gonna fuck around all day, excuse my language, or if we were gonna push up. But it was just a tough day, a tough session. A lot of stuff going on with triple witching, they call it, where options contracts expire, futures roll over, index contracts, whatever the case may be. So it was just a good lesson that when you feel like you're figuring everything out, the market finds a way to kind of keep you humble, you know, because it was my first true red day in a little bit. So this is my funded futures account, and last week I had a green week. This day I kind of blew up a little bit, but called it at 326, and then this was technically a break even. That's just the commissions for the trade. Yeah, so break even. And then where is it? And then down 200 on this account. So it is what it is. I mean, the beauty in it is that I found the lesson in it. Just continue to trust the system and let it work. You know, if you have a win rate of 90%, for example, I'm not saying that that's what my win rate is, but if you have a win rate of 90%, you have to accept that 10% of your trades are going to be losers, and it's how you react to that 10%. Because if you have a 90% win rate, but you can't take the one loss that comes when you need it, you're going to blow up. So yeah, it was good to see that I kind of knew where price was headed. We took previous day high. I could have went in here, but it just wasn't as clean. I would have liked more data. I would have liked to at least see price come down and test this out while ES was still lagging, and then maybe see this set up a little bit lower, and then I probably would have participated. But it is what it is. I'm pretty sure that not taking this will save me more times than not. So we just chalk it up to being right on the analysis but not making any money. So it is what it is. So when you guys are in a situation like that, just keep in mind that it's just all part of the process, man. It's part of the data. Some days are going to be like this where you kind of feel like you're on both sides of the market. And one of the things I try to remember is if you can make a case for both sides, kind of either de-risk or just don't participate and watch price, which is something I'm working on, is just being fine with showing up, reading price, and taking something that really sticks out. But this was a little tough. We get a huge rip. We come back down. It's a lot of back and forth. Not really any follow through. Those days that have very little follow through are tough for me because you see the setup, but you don't get that continuation that you want unless it's like really early in the session like this. So just chalk it up to the game, man. I hope we have a good weekend, and maybe next week we take a couple trades before Christmas and keep it rolling.